Hello, and welcome to Nuts About Baseball, a podcast that will entertain you with discussions involving everything baseball. I'm your host, Joe Grimme, and I appreciate you joining me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share my passion for the sport we call America's pastime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Nuts About Baseball. I am your host, Joe Grimme. Today, we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Reds and somewhat of a State of the Union update, which will include a few of the offseason moves the Reds have made, and then my outlook as of today, January 9th, as to the status of this Reds roster. We still have about a month before spring training starts, so I will probably do an update later in this preseason. Let's first start with the pitching staff. That was, I think, the biggest strength for the Reds last year. They were fourth lowest in hits allowed in the National League. Their whip, which is walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, was also fourth lowest in the National League. Batting average against the Reds, fourth lowest in the National League. And finally, ERA, they were seventh lowest in the National League. Clearly, the pitching staff was the strength last year. The hitting was very average at best. So, starting rotation, it's pretty solid. And if it stays the same, I look forward to what they can do this year if healthy. Of course, you've got your ace, Hunter Green. I think he's followed up by Andrew Abbott or Brady Singer, and then Nick Lodolo. And then we'll see who fills that fifth spot. I guess right now it's potentially Chase Burns. I guess he could open up in the bullpen. Other guys that might give a run at that fifth spot, I think, would be Rhett Lauder if he can stay healthy. Maybe Chase Petty. He had a quick stint last year up at the Bigs. A couple other guys who are both coming off of injuries, Brandon Williamson and Julian Aguilar. Both these guys have great potential, but again, they're both coming off serious injuries, and hopefully their rehab will allow them to play a full season. Only time will tell. So, pickups this offseason for the pitching staff. They picked up Caleb Ferguson, a left-handed reliever. He's 28 years old. He played 5 years with the Los Angeles Dodgers and then 4 more teams. He's got a career ERA of a 3.66, which I like because these days that's pretty good. Now, batting average against Caleb, 229. That's pretty good. Left-handers hit 184 and right-handers hit 263. So pretty good splits from this guy. Here's what concerns me about him. With no runners on base, batters are hitting 162 against Ferguson. When runners are on base, they're hitting 330. And in particular, when runners are in scoring position, hitters are hitting 328 against Ferguson. That clearly concerns me, but we shall see how he does when put in those situations. All right, let's switch over to the starting lineup. Right now, I think it looks like this. Tyler Stevenson behind the plate. He will obviously be backed up by Jose Trevino. At first base, who knows? I guess it's Spencer Steer, potentially Sal Stewart. I don't know who they're going to start there on opening day. I'd prefer to see Sal Stewart because I think his potential is just absolutely through the roof. But I think whoever has a better spring might secure that spot at first. Second base, I assume they're going to give it to Matt McLain with Gavin Lux and Sal Stewart potentially giving him some time there. Matt McLain is one of my favorite players. That guy absolutely has to figure it out. He struggled so much in 25, and it was very frustrating. What I didn't like about the Reds' decision with Matt was that they continued to put him out there day after day after day without giving him much rest and or taking him down to Louisville to give him a little bit of time to maybe get his head figured out. He never could really get it straight at the plate, and I really hope he bounces back in 26. Shortstop, no-brainer, Ellie De La Cruz. Third base, Gabriel Hayes. Outstanding in the field, won the Gold Glove Award. No one disputes that, but his bat is very subpar. I don't know what it would take for him to figure it out at the plate, but he just really needs to hit better. I hope he does, and we shall see what happens. In the outfield, I think TJ Friedl is a lock in center field on the corners. I think Noelve Marte showed that he is our right fielder as of now. I assume Will Benson will get some time out there as well. Left field, I guess, is the wild card. Who do we put out there? Gavin Lux, Spencer Steer, Will Benson. We have so many names that we could throw out there. I just wish that we had a big bat that we could fill in at that position. Well, what did the Reds do this offseason? Not much so far. I think they've done about the same thing they did last year. Picked up a couple average players that, in my opinion, probably won't help this team a whole lot. Now, I didn't think many of the moves last offseason were going to help the team, but they were pretty good. I think Nick Krall did a good job with the pathetic budget that the owners give him, and the Reds put together a season that allowed them to back into the playoffs. But it was the playoffs, and it was more than we've done in a very long time. The pickups they made this year, outfielder J.J. Bleday. He's 27 years old. He played for Miami for 1 year, and then he played for Oakland for 3 years. Last year in 2025, Bleday only played in 98 games. He had 14 home runs and 39 RBIs. His batting average was not good, 212. Now, what puzzles me about this guy is he's a left-handed hitter. His splits should be much higher against a right-hander and much lower against a left-hander. But he's just the opposite. Bleday, as a lefty, hits 324 against left-handed pitching, and he hits 180 against right-handed pitching. But the most concerning stat that I found was with runners in scoring position, J.J. Bleday hit only 214 last year. I really don't understand their take on this guy. I'm sorry. The other pickup that the Reds have made so far is another outfielder. They traded for Dane Myers from the Miami Marlins. He's 29 years old. He's a right-hander. He played for Miami for 3 years. Last year in 2025, he played in 106 games. He only had 6 home runs and had 31 RBIs. Myers hit 235. His splits against left-handed pitching, he hit 286, and against right-handed pitching, he hit 208. With runners in scoring position, not too bad, 272. Now, I get it. These guys are both bargains. Bleday only costs us $1.4 million for this season. Dane Myers, he was obtained in the trade. He only makes $860,000 this year. But that's exactly what they are. They're bargains. And that's what we're going to get on the field. Bargains. We need big hitters. And we haven't spent the money to find one just yet. All right, back to the pitching staff. Let's talk about my thoughts for this season coming up. I think the pitching staff's going to be good, but will it be as good as last year? Hopefully, Hunter Green will be healthy for a full season. That will absolutely help us. Now, will Chase Burns continue to be the Chase Burns that he was last season for the entire year? I hope he can stay healthy and that he doesn't get cut off halfway through the year with innings pitched. Can Andrew Abbott return to the same form that he had last year? He was phenomenal. He quite frankly was the ace, and nobody expected that. I hope he can come back to the form that he showed us in 25 because that would be huge for the Reds this year. What I think really hurts the Reds is the fact that they lost Nick Martinez and Brent Suter and a couple other relievers to free agency. Now, do I think Nick Martinez was worth the 20+ million they paid him last year? No, but he did whatever they asked him to do. He started, he relieved, he closed, and he was pretty good at all three roles. He's gone, and so is Brent Suter, who I think was very helpful, eating up innings when we needed him to, and potentially coming in for clutch situations to get an out or two. What I think they miss most about Brent Suter is the leadership that he provided in the clubhouse. The guy's a clown. The guy helps loosen these guys up, and I think he was a great presence to have around the entire team, no matter what he would do on the field. He's gone, and I think that could affect this team's personality. All right, now let's talk about Kyle Schwarber. If we had $125 million supposedly that we offered to spend on Kyle Schwarber, why can't we allocate those funds to someone else? I've read somewhere where management said that Schwarber would have boosted ticket sales and the sale of merchandise. Well, guess what, guys? It's not rocket science. Winning baseball games boosts ticket sales and the sale of merchandise. Yeah, certain names are going to bring people in here. Kyle Schwarber, local guy, absolutely would bring fans to the ballpark. But so will winning games. And you're not going to win a lot more games this year with what you've done so far in the offseason. I am just like most of you listeners. I'm a fan with lots of opinions. But the philosophy that the Reds are taking at this point is beyond frustrating. It seems like we had one big target this offseason, Kyle Schwarber. And I love it. Kyle's one of my favorite players out there. I love watching him play, and I wish they would have landed him. But why is he the only guy that we went after worth anything? If we had $125 million to spend on Kyle Schwarber, why couldn't we allocate some, if not all of those funds to someone else? Adding Blade and Myers and anyone else similar to them are not going to put this team over the top in 2026. You have to spend money to make money, and the Reds continue to refuse to do this. All right, I'm off my soapbox. The Reds have just a little over a month before spring training begins, and time is running out to do something to improve this team. It can happen. There are still a lot of big names out there, but will the Reds put the money towards an investment that will help this team get back into the playoffs and potentially make a run at the World Series? I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I will have another update before the season starts, and I hope I have better news and more excitement for what I hope to be a good 2026 season for the Cincinnati Reds. Until next time, I am Joe Grimme, and I am nuts about baseball.